Hi.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
How's
Good
everyone
to see
doing?
all of you. Doing good?
You too.
Very
Hi,
The
happy.
Andrea.
smiling show. The smiles are
Hello. Yes. It's a great day. How are y'all?
Doing
Good, thank
well. And I
you.
want to welcome everyone to the Talking Back to Suicide podcast, right? And
Yeah.
I have good news to share. I received word from the National Association for Poetry Therapy that at their annual conference that's taking place in Portland, Oregon, which also happens to be where I live, I received word that I'm receiving their Outstanding Achievement of the Year award for the use of poetry, right? For healing.
Woo!
I, I'm blushing.
A time of celebration. Well deserved.
And I feel especially really wonderful about the award because it acknowledges the use of language, art, poetry, story for healing purposes, right? That, of
Mhm.
course, there are published anthologies of poetry, and we read poetry in school and we learn about
Yeah.
maybe writing poetry, but to take poetry out into the world in terms of healthcare is something important. And I'm
Very
feeling,
magical.
yeah, healing medicine, you're right. And so
Mhm.
I feel that receiving this acknowledgement also acknowledges poetry and language and story itself, right?
That's right.
So, yeah, so that was
Congratulations.
an amazing email I received.
Well done.
What a way to start. 2025
Thank
just
you.
continues to
Thank
get
you,
better and
Andrea.
better.
And I met Audrey Kino a couple of months back in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, right?
Yes, baby.
And, and we were at the Listening Room Film Festival, right? And I happened to be, I think, seated next to Audrea and her
Yeah,
wonderful mother, right?
yeah,
And Audrey was there in recognition of her singing, right, and
yes.
songwriting. Uh, and we had a wonderful conversation. I was there because one of our songs, I think it was My Crying Song for You.
Yep.
That video, the lyric video, was also part of the festival. And we really connected, right? And
Yes, we
Audrey, you had
did.
shared some personal stories about your own healing journey having to do with mental health. And your mom had also shared her health journey, which she's still traversing. And it was just so inspiring to meet both of you.
You
So,
as well. You as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Audrey, wherever you'd like to begin, right? Tell us and our audience about you.
Hi, everyone. It's such an honor to be here on the show, the podcast today. I am Adria Glenn. I'm originally from Tupelo, Mississippi, but I currently reside in Memphis, Tennessee. Um, my journey began at the age of 5. Um, just my great grandmother hearing me sing my first note. She heard me sing Passions. I don't know if you all remember the soap opera at that time, but it was called Passions. And she caught me singing it. So that's when I began. She told my mom, you need to get her in the church choir. So I began singing in the church choir. My mom being the choir director. And from on then, I auditioned for The Voice. I was told no. American Idol. I was told no. And that in itself was just like a real like blow, I guess you would say, to my mental. And from there on, I knew it was music was always a part of my soul. But I think sometimes what gets in the way is when you're told no by people who are supposed to be in these important positions, you know. And so, um, at the age of 17, that's when I wrote my first song called Vibing. And I recorded it in Atlanta, Georgia. And from there, I knew that it was just something there, like it just clicked. And so from there, I just began writing music. And I would write like situations I was going through with bad relationships, abuse, substance abuse. I would just write my thoughts out, hoping that one day, you know, that once I get through this, that I can pass this along and help someone else heal. Um, I will say a lot of ups and downs throughout this journey, but 2024 and the beginning of 2025 has just been nothing but spectacular. Being able to be happy, and when I mean happy, I mean genuinely soulful happy. Not feeling depressed, not feeling down, not questioning myself, you know, and not having to depend on others to support me, but know that it's bigger than me and that I'm on a mission to help heal. So that's a little bit about me.
Wow. And as you say that, you're really glowing, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I'm just I'm so thankful, and I'm not a huge like religious person. I wouldn't say that. I just think I'm more spiritual, you know, spiritually inclined. And it's amazing. It's amazing when you can feel that presence. And it's just like a lift, a burning off of me. So that's where that glow comes from, that spiritual aspect.
It's like, what you said there, being like spiritually happy. Okay. And I don't want to offend anyone that follows any form of religion. I respect all religions, all
Right.
cultures, all colors, all creeds. But when you attempt to be happy while following a religion at times, you're under so much pressure. What's right? What's wrong? I'm
That's
gonna be
right.
judged. But when you find yourself spiritually and you go out into the world and you go down that journey, that's now when
Mm,
your true being just comes out. And wow, like
it,
all
it's
the stuff that
amazing.
you used to worry about doesn't matter anymore. You're
It
just gonna
doesn't.
take life a minute at a time. It's either gonna work out or it's not. If it doesn't, okay, cool, I'll move on. Now, when you're under so much
Yes.
pressure from, friends, family, or the mosque or church or temple, you're like, there's so much expectations and happiness can be on a decline. So I get where you're coming from.
Woo. Yes, you took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly the best way to explain this whole experience, especially from people who are closest to you. You know, I don't, it's just something to see and something to experience. But I've even had, you know, suicidal thoughts because I was just like, well, if I end it now, then I won't have to go through all of this pressure, all of this be perfect, you know, that I can just
Mhm.
be at peace. But then, like, you know, you hear that it doesn't speak loud, but you hear it and it's just like, you got this. You belong here, you know? So keep going, you know, and see where you can, how far I can take you on this journey. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Like what you were saying also about, people saying no. It was a conversation I had also last week on my own podcast with an author. And we concluded by, how many times in our lives as creators that people said, no, you won't do that or you can't do that. No, it's impossible. You want to be a singer songwriter? What? No. What's that? Is that even a real thing?
Are
And
you
you get,
crazy? Are you
yeah. Like,
insane?
yeah, like even from family, until you prove them, wrong, like how are you going to earn money and how are you going to support yourself? But you
Yes.
just have to keep going and believing. But as you said, that can put you in a depressive state, you know.
Mhm.
And I'm sure there's
Yeah.
a lot of
And
people out there who have
it
committed
it
suicide
takes
because of that.
it takes a lot of investment being an independent artist. I'm not signed by
Yeah,
any label, so it's 10 times more as cleaning houses just to make it, just to be able to provide for, my personal life, but also my music. It's hard. And then, being told, well, you're too pretty to clean houses and stuff like that. I don't look at it that way. It's something that I love to do. It's a business to me, and that has grown tremendously. So thank God he, allowed me to make an income to support my dream, you know. So,
100%. Yeah,
yeah.
100%.
I can resonate too with what you're sharing about that feeling of having to prove yourself
Mm.
just to somebody else somehow, right?
Yeah.
I can
Mhm.
remember an experience, probably one of very many, and I don't think the person who said this to me meant any harm to me in what they said, but the way I experienced it was hurtful. Um,
Mm.
it was at the medical center where I had been working back in New Jersey, and I think I had shared about an early poem that I had written, right? And when I was talking about it, because I'm not quite sure what poem it was, so I'm going to sort of make up one of the poems that it was about. It could have been about, um, um, I wrote a poem about America's children, right? And I called it
Mm.
America's Children Are Singing. And that poem was actually inspired by a Walt Whitman poem called America is Singing, which is very kind of patriotic poem. And it gets like, I'm going to ad lib some of the lines. It's something like, I hear the woodsman chopping the wood, and I hear this and I hear that. And it's all coming together to be America. And what happened was, this has a spiritual element, that I was practicing Siddha yoga meditation and had been going to an ashram in upstate New York. And I
Mm.
was at the ashram and was in the bookstore after having experienced some of the meditation in a large group. So I'm in the bookstore, which is absolutely beautiful, with sculptures and incense and just the colors and the spiritual feeling that was in the bookstore and the whole
Yeah.
ashram. So there I am, and I see on the bookshelf a children's book version of Walt Whitman's poem. And I pulled out the book and I'm looking at the book, and all of a sudden, this other poem just came through me, right? And I wrote America's Children Are Singing in that really altered state of consciousness, right?
Yeah.
Sort of spiritually infused. And then that poem became, I created it into a poster. And I have to say this. I was working in Newark, New Jersey, as the medical director of the preschool mental health program. And
Mm.
so I was filled with so many of the experiences of these children, right?
Mm.
And again, it was a selected group of children because they were receiving mental health treatment, right? So I'm not speaking for all the children in Newark, but the children we were seeing were in foster care and had been physically abused, sexually abused, neglected, was history of drug abuse in the family related to reasons why drug abuse had become involved, as well as other psychiatric difficulties. So those were the children we were seeing. That was,
Yeah.
I think, six and below. So when I wrote America's Children Are Singing, I was thinking about those children. And then
Wow.
it became a poster with the poem, and then it even became the benediction to a Share Our Strength literary fundraiser. So all those things happened from the poem. And it could have been that poem that this attending in psychiatry was talking about, because I was sharing something to him about a poem I had written. Right. And I remember he just said one thing to me that I remember, which was he asked me where I had gone to school to learn poetry. And I want to know why you're laughing, but I hadn't really gone to school life was my school, and the lives of other people was my school, and my heart was my school, right? Exactly. And I thought he wanted me to say I had gone to Harvard University to get a degree in poetry, right? Yeah. But I was talking about another type of poetry, right?
Exactly.
The poetry of emotion or connection, or the poetry of compassion, right? And I just said to him that I had gone to the school of poetry in my heart.
Yeah.
Right? But I think my reaction to that was I felt that I needed to prove something to him. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, I think I responded the absolutely right way. That was the school that I had gone to in my heart.
Exactly.
Right? But I also felt that he was asking me not about the school in my heart, but what degree I had. Right?
Yeah.
And that feeling of having to prove yourself, or just a sense of not being understood.
Not being good enough.
Yeah. Earlier on, when I was sharing that story, you started to give a knowing laugh. Can I ask you what about it made you react that way?
Because throughout your journey, you always have those people who are going to test you and try to come in the way of your greatness. So you have to laugh those type of people off and show them what you're made of, So that's why it was funny to me, because I'm just like, how many of those have we come across in life, but it didn't stop us? You're receiving an award for poetry in April. He didn't stop you. So you always get the last laugh. So that's why I'm laughing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to ask both of you, as musicians, artists, that it's so interesting, the transmission of the lyric, the song, the story. And I use the word transmission because although I wrote down the words of the poem, it almost felt, maybe I should eliminate the word almost. My experience was that the poem came to me. I didn't kind of make it up. Yeah, I was writing it down, and with the idea of, are all those creative ideas spiritual elements that come through us and then we shape them, right? Are we alone creating it? Just us as mortal beings, or is there higher energies, right, that are giving us these ideas? I'd be really interested to know what you think. And it's also co-creative. You have that idea comes to you, but then the question is, how did that idea arise? Where did all those words come? Because I've had experiences of whole stories, first word to last word. The whole thing is like a download. The whole thing has come, right? And where does that come from? Yeah, where does that
download?
Wow. What do you think of that? That where we talk about the creator, right? Where do those creative ideas come from?
Yeah. You want
to? Okay, my one is short. Okay, use the keyword download. Like, I feel for me, anything I do or put together is spiritual, right?
Mhm.
Idra being more a singer-songwriter, she's going to have much more to say about this question. The music business is complex. So I work with singer-songwriters. So I will get a beat together with, one part of my team. After that beat is done, then I'm going to call in the singer-songwriters. Okay, show me what you got. I'll just give them the vision. As a producer, I'm giving you the vision. This is what I want, like, at the end. This is the end goal. Then they go back, they do their thing, and then it comes back to me, and then I'll be like, okay, let's talk it up here, let's talk it up here. Okay, that makes sense. So, like, I just put the whole song, together. But from A to Z, for me, it is spiritual, it's a download on which direction to go, even from the composition of the beat itself. Like, what is my heart telling me? And for me, it just like naturally comes, you'll make errors along the way and you'll be like, okay, no, not this, let me use this. Okay, that sample's not working, let me put that in. Same goes with the sound production of it, the vocal recording of it. But for me, it just automatically comes, and heart. I speak and see through my heart. What's my heart telling me, not what ear is telling me. If I'm going to listen to what's going on up here, I'm never going to get this done. I'm going to keep criticizing myself. So I have to just, follow my heart from A to Z of the complete production. And I'll put it out to market knowing I followed my heart. Admit it does good or bad, I'm still proud of it at the end of the day, because I followed my heart. Okay, over to you. That's my short version of it.
I love
yeah.
down. I love how you broke that down and keyword that you said naturally. It's in us. It's not on us. I know y'all have heard this before, but it's in us. And it is, I'm just going to tie it all back to being naturally and spiritually gifted. I can be in the car, I can be in the kitchen, I can be cleaning, and something to just pop up in my head, and I'm like, okay, so let me go write this down, or either let me go record it real quick on my phone because I don't want to lose this thought, and it just comes. It comes naturally. There's no other way to explain it. It's a blessing.
You see, like that answer, that's when I know, like, you're truly passionate about what you do.
I
Like,
love
if
it.
Diana had to ask this question, I'm sure there's like a lot of musicians out there. They're going to give you like
Yeah.
this long answer on how the song comes, because they put in too much thought into it by just, speaking naturally.
Yeah.
Like, the simplest way to explain it to people, it just comes together.
Yeah.
I don't know how, it just comes together.
Yeah.
But then as you said, download. That was a perfect word to use it. It's like, you ever been in a situation where you like, how do I solve this issue? Then you give it some time. You're like, oh, okay, you don't know
Yeah.
where it comes from. It just comes.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's that sense of I don't know, it's like a determined belief, like Of course, we can talk more about that too, like a delusional knowing versus like an accurate knowing, right?
Mhm.
But I know for me that in my work with lyrics and singer songwriters, that I'll be directing at times, the full song, right? And I'm talking about the phrasing of it and adding a flourish. And I think that it needs to go down, the note at a certain point. And a part of me is going, Diane, you didn't get a degree in music, and why are you how can you be so determined that that's the right way to do it, right? And yet there's a part of me that just feels it so strongly and experiences it. Like, I know that needs to be done, right? And I guess one also needs some form of verification, right? So there, with the Hold On campaign, we now have 5 songs based on my lyrics, and all of them have won international awards for Best Lyric and Best Original Song. So
That's amazing.
I would say that idea of like having a gift, and I would expand it to, I think everyone has gifts, right? That we need to take time to explore, right? And have the
Mhm.
courage as a beginner, right? To take the first steps and develop that gift. It's kind of like a baby. You were birthed with
Yeah.
something, and now you're going to help it grow and dress it up and take it out into the world. But at
Yeah.
times, I want to go back to that idea of myself, especially sort of, I was trained as a physician, right? Like, who am I to say, dear singer songwriter, I want you to do it this way, right? And
Yeah.
again, I'm taking their feedback as well. But it goes back to the idea of having a talent that, in some respects, maybe we can't explain it, right? But it's there, right?
It's
And if you find verification that yes, you're on the right track, that we need to listen to that voice, and that voice also, I think, has a spiritual dimension. Right? How else?
powerful.
Yeah. How else
It's
can
a
you
powerful
explain?
word.
I can't explain it in any other way.
I
Also
think if you
ancestral.
even try to, I'm sorry.
No, fine, you can. Okay, go
You
first.
can go ahead.
No, you can go first.
um, just like I just was adding on, I love how you said that you can't explain it. You really can't. And you just like you said, you can't explain it. It leaves you in awe sometimes, just how things coordinate and work together, and then boom, like you have this gift. I can't explain it.
Yeah, that's why people think we're crazy. That's I no, I just
Yes.
wanted to say it's also ancestral. When you start
Mm,
going down the spiritual journey, it's also ancestral. Someone in our bloodline, had these gifts, were musicians, were creators. It's just that
mhm.
as the bloodline progress, from like our great grandparents, or parents, they never really tap into these talents. But sooner or later,
Mm,
someone is going to tap into it. In our case, it's us. And then be like, okay, there's a bigger purpose behind this as well. It's not just to be a musician or a singer songwriter or producer or a rapper, wherever you fit in it. But once you find that there's also a bigger purpose, because what you're doing is actually going to impact lives as well. That's our responsibility as creators, to impact lives. Music changes people's lives. Music changes how people view the world, how they view a situation.
mhm.
When you
Universal
say,
language.
yeah, exactly. You know, in my case, growing up when I was sad, Eminem. When I was depressed, Eminem. Yeah, he kept pushing me on. We all have that someone, that took us out of that state of mind, and be like, okay, I can do this. Then you
Yeah.
go in front of a mirror and you like, rapping Eminem, and then your parents think you're going crazy, and we need to get you checked out. But they don't understand. That was my therapy.
Yeah.
So to all the
Yeah.
kids out there who are singing from the mirror, it's okay. Go for it.
Right. Go for it.
But then I
Audrey,
feel you have been. I just want to learn one more thing before you continue. Like, when you talk about, your poems and your lyrics, which you are so good at, you're great at it. Like, even though you've like lived bulk of your life as a therapist, these were like those hidden talents that finally just started to come out. And now it's blowing up, it's really blowing up.
yeah, yeah. No, I would say maybe I know what you mean by blowing up, but maybe blossoming up.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you live
Yeah.
like your life as a therapist. You were in the medical field, and now you're a creator. Like, how many physicians, doctors can really say that? Not
Right.
many, not many. You've like changed the whole medical game by doing what you do.
Thank you. But
Yeah.
I also going to give a shout out to healthcare providers.
Yes.
And I think especially healthcare providers and mental health, I, I think we're drawn to the field because of our own vulnerabilities and life experiences, right? There's a reason why people are drawn to mental health. Uh, and I think it would be good, as appropriate, for people in the healthcare field or mental health care field to not feel embarrassed about sharing their own story, right? And that also includes, I don't know, panic attacks, anxiety, depression, bipolar, even substance abuse, suicide attempts. There's a whole lot of us, I believe, in the mental health field that either themselves or a family member, experience, and that's what took them to the field, to be
Yeah.
able to um, help others, right? But I want to give a caveat that helping others, while I think is so important, that helping others does not necessarily heal ourselves. The hole
No.
in ourselves can just get bigger and bigger. That we
Ooh,
also
that's a
need.
word. That
we
is
we
so
also
true.
we need to address our own difficulties and trauma, right? Because sometimes you hear, like, it becomes almost shocking. You hear of someone who was drawn to help others in a large way. And I'm not making a hierarchy, small or large, right? Their audience was a national one, right? That's just as important as helping your neighbor, right? But you hear of someone who, at the pinnacle of helping, has died by suicide. They were in the suicide prevention field, and now they have died by suicide, which just speaks to the need for us to be able to, at times, step back, right? Or integrate helping ourselves at the same time, right?
Ooh, yes. A
Yes.
word. I gotta clap for that because that was on point because I have been through that. I put people first who I saw that, needed healing, needed help to get through whether that was just with helping them with my presence, with a smile, with something to get them out of that space of darkness. But then when you're doing all that work, you neglect yourself. And there's been many times where I forgot, oh, I have to make sure I'm okay too. Even though I'm trying to help this person, help them heal, I need to heal myself too. And that's what really sent me off into a dark space before, thinking, okay, well, I feel bad. Why do I feel so bad? And yeah, I'm just glad that you spoke on that because it can become really heavy if you don't just push back and take time for yourself.
Jerry, I wanted to ask you, based on what you just said, how did you how did you know that you were feeling bad? Was it was there an external event or events that were not so good that led to it? Were you, I don't know, isolating or crying or shut down? I mean, what was the whole experience like? If whatever
Um,
part of that you want to share.
just feeling drained, I think is the best way to put it. It seemed like I had no energy to even get out of bed at times. My mood was just, I was very moody. One moment I'm up, the next I'm down. And I just was like, I don't feel right. This is not me. What happened? And it just I honestly don't know how I allowed myself to get that deep into that space. And it was so hard coming out of that, but that's why I will say the spiritual world is real, because without that spirit, without hearing that voice and being able to align with it, I wouldn't have made it out, you know? So it was just hard.
When you're saying about it being so hard, um, was it the depth of how low you went, and or the duration of the time that you were experiencing it?
Yes, because it seemed like I experienced continuous events from the age of 15. But I think what was my problem was I did not deal with those things at the time that it would happen. I guess I just kept allowing it to build and suppress me, not knowing eventually that it would be so hard to climb out, you know. And when I say from the age of 15, just, um, sexual abuse, physical abuse. Um, it was a lot, you know. I'm so young. How am I supposed to deal with this? Or, you're not really in tune with God at that time when you're that young, you know? And so I just kept letting it build and build. And then that's when I turned to alcohol, substance, abuse and everything, because I thought like filling that void with other things would make it go away, not knowing it would just keep progressing. And what really hit home was in 2020, was when my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, liver cancer, and bone cancer. And I was just like, me and my mom are like this, and I'm like, I can't, I can't imagine life without her, you know. So that really shook me up. That really started to get me toward the right path of healing, because not only did I have to at that time be strong for myself, but I had to be strong for her. And that's what really changed me. And I've noticed the changes ever since, like me just getting in alignment with spirituality. And it now it's just like, wow. So sometimes it does take traumatic events for you to be able to go through that. And I think that's just my testimony, going through all that I've been through, but still making it out. Now I can help so many people who are going through it. I hope I answered.
Thank you, Andrea, for sharing that. Yeah, not only I'm feeling the courage that it takes to share that, but maybe even more so, and I want your thoughts on this, the ability, I don't know, maybe it's the courage not only to share it outside, but the courage to possibly feel the pain of that story as you're sharing it, right? Because I think often people can speak of, when you share something personal, people can say, the courage it took, right? And I'm going to reference something. I was recently involved in an experience about sharing mental health stories.
Yeah.
And in the intro to that, before we went ahead and shared those stories in a certain forum, they talked about the courage, that it takes. But after the whole day went on, I was reflecting back about it, and I thought, I wish the introduction had been included. And thank you, all of you, for agreeing to do this. And it does take courage, but I want you to know it takes a lot of re-experiencing pain to give voice to what you've gone through, right? And let's talk about that, right? I think somehow more important than the courage part It's the vulnerability of the pain that you're going to be feeling, whether you're aware of that or not, right? And so that's why I wanted to say to you that what you shared, I imagine in a way, but of course your experience is the most important one. But I'm imagining it, it must have taken on some level some pain for you to now to say, and yes, I had been sexually abused, physically abused, right? My mother was diagnosed with life-threatening cancer, because there are words, there's the surface words, right? Like the ocean, they're floating on the top, but then there's all the depth of experience, right?
Ooh,
That's
yes,
supporting those words. Right?
yes, yeah. I know that, like I said earlier, that I wasn't very religious, but now I understand what it means to carry the cross. um, you're going to witness a lot of pain when you're trying to get to that alignment, your purpose. You're going to go through a lot. And so I understand now what the meaning of carrying the cross is. And I'm 30, well, I'll be 32 February 15th. And I'm so glad that I didn't let it take me out, the pain. I didn't allow it, that I'm here now. And I'm happy to be able to say I made it,
Yeah,
Yes, and we're
you made it.
so glad that you made it, right?
Yeah, and my
And
song
that you
Free.
were able
Yeah,
to survive the pain and also help transform the pain.
yes. And that's what my song Free that you heard in Baton Rouge is all about. No longer toxic, no longer going through pain, protecting my soul. It's beautiful.
When did you write that lyric?
That was in March 19th, 2023. I know the exact date. We were in the studio and I heard the first chorus like boom, 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 boom. And then I was like, free. I just wanted to be like very calming, very just peaceful. And at that time, I was still going through things, and that was, in 2023. But I guess I pretty much set it up to what my life would look like with being free, and that this can help, the world to understand, you don't have to stay in pain. There is another side. There is a heaven on earth.
Yes, yeah. That you don't have to die to be resurrected, right? You
No,
can be resurrected here on earth. Right?
yes.
Would you feel comfortable singing a cappella a little bit of the song?
I was just about to ask the same thing. I feel like I'm an Idol's
I'm a,
judge or American Got Talent. Can you please do that again?
I'm a little
Please.
sick, I will say that, but I'm gonna try my best. So the first verse is happy as can be. I just found my peace, loving all of me. Nothing in my way could ever stop me from who I'm supposed to be. I'm free in every part of me. That's a little
Buzz, that's a little buzz. Wow.
bit. Yeah.
Wow. Dana, this is the first time we did that on the show. Which is hilarious. Yeah. But how
Look, I
crazy
love
was
it.
that?
Y'all are full of surprises.
We were on the same thought. Like, like I was going to ask her to also sing, and then you were going to say, okay, it's like we were there. That's spirituality again. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You're gonna
What
do
you said,
well.
Andrea,
You're gonna do well.
about the pain, right? Getting through the pain, right? And not
Mhm.
um, having the pain put you in another direction, right? Because I think for people that are experiencing suicidal thoughts, which can be for a variety of reasons, it could be severe major depression, or perhaps you're psychotic, uh,
Yeah.
relationship breakups, financial problems, cyberbullying, domestic violence, a whole realm. I recently heard of a young boy who died by suicide related to sextortion on the internet. But the immediate idea is, I'm in so much pain, I cannot bear to live with this pain, and I'm going to take myself out. And I'm not going to be in pain, because and you're thinking. And I've experienced a suicide attempt. At least this was my personal experience, is that your thinking is so distorted and constricted, you're not thinking clearly, because however bad it is, the next moment is going to come. And
Yeah.
you can get help.
You
There
can
are
talk to
people in
someone.
your life, right, that can
Yes.
help. No matter how bad it is, it's going to be in the past. It's not going to stay in
Yes.
the present, right? And you may be out of pain, right? Um, However, all the people in your life that love you, now that pain is forever transferred to them. But in your suicidal state of mind, you're not thinking of anything else other than, I'm in so much pain, I have to end it. So I wanted to ask you, if you could speak to someone, perhaps there's somebody listening now or in the future, and they're in unbearable pain, right? What would you say to them to be able to hold on and not act on that suicidal thought?
Hold on and keep going. I cannot stress that enough. Get through those 24 hours.
And if someone said, why or how do I do that?
Because
What would you say?
it's so much beauty here in life. Like I just said, you're gonna go through pain. You can't take the bad and the good and not make something beautiful out of that. You have to have the bad with the good to get there, to understand that there is more to life. So, yes, you may be going through a hard situation, but know there is a tomorrow. Know that there is not even tomorrow. Let me get off of that. Know that there is the next second, the next minute, the next hour. You know, don't give up. Do not give up. Do not give the enemy that power, because then once you're in that ground, it's too late. And then you will never find out who you are to become and who you are to be. Go through that pain, do the work, keep going, keep going, keep going. I made it. I'm a living testament. You see me now, but I'm telling you, I understand. Keep going. Fight.
Yeah.
When, Audrey, when you use the word do the work, what work do you mean? What is that work?
What I mean by that is finding who you are to become, what your purpose here is on earth. We are all in earth school. We're all trying to figure it out. You know, nobody has the correct answer. I don't have all the answers, but I will tell you, keep going to find out what life is about. It's not all bad. It's really not.
Yep.
Nodding my head, yes, yeah. Yeah, what are your thoughts, Kino?
I think I have quoted on the show before Isaac Newton, like every action has an opposite and equal reaction. So, as you said, you have to go through the darkness to get to the light.
Mhm.
100%. We find ourselves in situations as human beings and we keep asking, why God? Why me? Why is this happening to me? But at times, or not at times, all the time, you just need to look deeper. What's, God, the universe trying to tell me? Like Winston Churchill once said, look for the blessings in disguise. Look for those things. So you have to go through those bad times to find
Yes.
yourself. Like if I could sum up what, took you through it, it's like, okay, I got a purpose. So I'm going to use the music industry as an example. We find ourselves in a lot of dark places when we're looking at it from a business point of view, especially financially. And if you're working with a team, it's added pressure as well. So, at times I find myself in the situations and I could, take the easy option here, think, okay, why don't I just end my life? It'll all be done with. But then I think to myself, but look, as you said, 24 hours. If I have to do something to myself, then I'm losing out on what my life can be. Like that's like Daniel, like you once said, which was great. Like if I commit suicide, that's it. There's no turning back. That's it.
No.
So I can either choose to go through the short-term frustrations, knowing that, okay, I am enjoying what I'm doing and I know what I'm building. I know the bigger purpose behind it. And knowing I will overcome this one day, whether it takes me a month, a year, 4 years, 5 years, I'm going to keep pushing, keep going. I'm passionate about it. Or, and at the end of it, it'll be over and done with. And I still got a life to live and I'm living my best life. So you got two options. Like long-term thinking. Like I got to ask a question. When you were going through all of this, in your childhood, did you ever, like I've seen in many cases out there, like become dependent on the wrong partner, going through that phase? That just made things worse, And then, okay, the follow-up, like, how did you overcome that and how did you get yourself out of the situation? Because there's so many young, beautiful, talented, intelligent females all around the world, but they stuck in this relationship without even going through what they're going through personally first. So it's just like added spice to the mix.
Yes. I've been in so many bad relationships. Just not knowing my worth. But I had to realize, like, love isn't supposed to hurt like this. It's love is calming. Love is peaceful. Yes, you're going to go through your ups and downs with people. That's part of life. But not to the point where I can feel your energy and it makes me question you and have to feel a certain way around you. Like when you can't be yourself around someone who says that they love you and they care about you, you should know then that's a red flag in itself. I need to go. But like I said, like when I was filling those voids, I was filling myself with toxins and didn't know at the time. I was blinded to, what these men were really doing because I love them, I genuinely love them. But you just have to snap out of it, snap out of the delusional state and be like, no, I don't deserve this. This is not how I'm supposed to be treated,
You become dependent.
I hope I answered your question because it was kind of like you going in and out.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's the Wi-Fi again, up and down. No, you did answer. The key word you used there was, worth. Know your worth.
Know your worth.
Know you deserve better. Because, these toxic relationships, like there's guys out there that will tend to, play on your vulnerability because you have been open with them. Okay. So you've told them, look, I've gone through this at such a young age. And I'm telling you this because I trust you, I love you, I want to confide in you. But then you'll get, people out there, you'll get guys out there that, okay, I can use this to my advantage now. This is that leverage. I'm going to play on a vulnerability. And, there's girls who fall for it. And unfortunately, not all have the mental strength. You have to look, I know better. I know my worth, and I'm going to leave. Some stay stuck, into teens, adulthood, and then doesn't end well, whichever way you look at it. Even if they live till their 50s, 60s together, it's not a healthy relationship. It's not a healthy environment. The kids are growing up in violence.
Yeah.
Who's winning? Who's really winning?
Mm-hmm.
Then the kids grow up with the trauma. Then they start having suicidal thoughts.
Yes.
Then here we go.
Or they're being like role modeled in terms of who they're going to be attracted to when they seek relationships when they're older.
Yeah, you're right. Think about having a daughter in this day and age, and if my mother's in a toxic relationship, so her worth is going to define my worth. So if that's what she settled for, that's all I can settle for. There's nothing better. There's nothing more. That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, role model. That's a good point.
Yeah, I read an article, or at least an article headline the other day from an organization called Helio, Healio is the organization. And the article was about, I think this is just the United States, so it could be worldwide, but perhaps it's just the US. It was about pregnant women. Pregnant women are like a number one killer is murder and suicide for pregnant women. Just when you think that a woman who's pregnant, right, would be valued and cherished and protected and be safe, right? That's when she is most vulnerable for death from murder and suicide.
Wow.
I was going to say unbelievable, but I guess it is believable if that's the fact. And then you'd have to take that apart. Like, how can a humane, civilized society have their pregnant women, the carriers of the next generation? It makes me almost want to cry. All right, right? We should cry hearing that.
That is very disturbing. Like, it's so sad.
Lots of work to be done.
But hey, I got my armor and I'm ready. I'm ready to help.
Audrey, I also wanted to ask you, in your experience, I know that sometimes when quote, bad things are happening to us, right? Sometimes we don't feel comfortable telling other people. We might keep it a secret. Did that happen to you in terms of the relationships that you were in, or when you went into substance abuse, or even your mental health when you weren't doing so well? Were you able to share that with trusted people, or did you keep some or all of that a secret?
My mom has always been my rock. I didn't tell
she's
her.
A wonderful woman. I met her.
Yes. I didn't tell all until later, but I did talk to her about things. And when I say that woman was 1000% behind me in my decisions, in my career, that really helped me. She is literally my angel on earth. And I didn't keep it all in, but some, because I knew I needed help. I knew that I did not want to go out like that and not know what was on the other side. It was that little bit of faith, just a little bit. It's very true when they say mustard seed. I think is that what they call it?
Yes, a mustard seed.
That little bit of faith. Yep.
Grew and grew and grew. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and I want to say this because, I don't know who's on here, but I say that even through all that pain and stuff, I just performed in front of 17 plus thousand people. Me, that has been through all of this, that has been knocked down time and time again, was told no at The Voice, was told no at American Idol, was told no by my family members, close friends, so called. 17,000 plus people I just performed in front of. So that's why I
Congratulations.
tell people, keep going.
Ah,
You don't know what's
yes.
on the other side. But it's
Well,
worth seeing. It's worth going and digging and finding out who you are and who you are to become, you know.
I love that who you are to become because it brings the future into reality. Like there is a
Right.
future,
There
right?
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. And what you feel that your purpose and mission is, that's going to potentially grow further and might even change. There may be, if it, I don't know, if you imagine a plant, it's another shoot and a blossom coming off, right?
Yeah.
The idea of learning from that experience, right? I think that's so important. I know recently, so I had gone through something and I was feeling bad about myself and was really maybe, I think in a way, too harsh on myself, but kind of blaming myself for something, what I had done. And then I was thinking, you're being too hard on yourself. Just learn from the experience. That's that shoot coming off. Learn from it. And what else can you do with it? I think going back to that idea of a choice at some point, you know, are you going to
Mm.
stay angry at yourself and feeling worthless? Or are you going to
Yeah.
find the worth in you and in the experience to learn
Mhm.
from it and
Yeah.
change and grow? And I think
That's
that
right.
that kindles hope. Like, oh yeah, okay, like that happened, but I can learn and I can grow and it can be better. And
Yep.
I want to give you a round of applause. And I know Kino gives
Oh,
applause too
thank
for
you.
your, what'd you say, 17,000 people hearing
Yeah.
your beautiful
Yeah.
voice and your
Thank you.
songwriting abilities. Where was that? Where did you perform?
At FedEx Forum in Memphis, it was for Grizzlies versus OKC. It was such a good game. I had to open up with the national anthem. Yes.
Oh, you definitely have the voice for that. Yeah,
Wow.
I can imagine that. Soon it'll
Yes,
be
it was.
700,000 people, then it'll be 7 million people, and then it'll be like, yo, look how far I've come, you know?
And
But I
you know
also want,
what? It was insane because going back, yes, even though um I still get, I will say, a little bit nervous before I hit the stage because you do want to make sure you perform good. And I'm not going to say pressured, but you do want to do a great job in anything that you
yeah,
do.
yeah.
And but once I stepped on that stage, I was like, I'm here, God. Let your will be done. And when I say the will was done, the crowd went insane. So I'm just, I'm grateful.
It's natural to be nervous, when you're truly passionate about what you do, you know?
Yes.
Like, I mean, look at podcasting. I mean, each time before I come on, I got to just like self-reflect and breathe a bit, and then once you're
Breathe.
in it, it's like, yo, okay, we here, let's go.
Let's
I
do
just wanted
this.
to like, yeah, let's do this. This is what we're here for. Like,
Yeah.
I just want when you were talking about idols and getting a no from idols, that was like one of the first competitions in South Africa. Like, I had a grudge with because the competition. Say if there's 100, for example, ball figure, okay, singers that sign up for idols. Now you're gonna get your top 10, and you're gonna get your winner. What I didn't like was how mainstream treated the people that didn't actually make it to the top 10 or become a winner. There was no, after program to, okay, how can we still inspire these individuals? They showed up, which means they're passionate
Exactly.
about what they want to do. So what can we do for them? And then I even, typed out this whole blog around it about how there should be like programs afterwards with coaches, whether it be vocal coaches. Okay, in this case, yeah, vocal coaches will be a, priority. But point being, these individuals give up on what truly matters to them because they get a no from these judges. Like, who are these
Yeah.
judges? Right? They shouldn't define your career. The no shouldn't define your life. Find your place where you belong. Okay, you never make it to idols, or maybe you think, or you're living in a fantasy of, maybe I am a good singer, but you're uncertain about it. But I want to be in the music industry, but you never know. Maybe you're a good guitarist. Maybe you play the
Right.
piano well. Maybe you'll be good at production. Maybe you'll be good at artist management. You can still be involved in the music industry. You just need to find out where
Right.
you belong. Don't take, oh no, they didn't like my singing, and boom, that's it. It's the end of the road for me. Let me listen to my mother and go get a job. Like,
Yeah.
don't give up. So yeah, to the up and
Don't give
coming
up.
independent musicians who are listening to this, don't give up when mainstream says no, you're not good enough. You are good enough.
You are.
Just keep working on your craft.
I love that. That's exactly right. Do not give up.
Yeah.
Andrea, I don't know if you've done this before, but what we're talking about now, what you brought up initially, would make a great article. Like they said no, colon, the spirit said yes.
Woo!
Right?
I love that.
Right? And then an
Yeah.
article, right? Then an article about
Yes.
being a creator, right? And your experiences, and then linking it to your music. Right?
Ooh,
I think that
love
message needs to get out there. And also what you just said too, about that perhaps the singing route needs more coaching, or maybe being the singer is not the chosen role for you, but you could
Yeah.
do something else in the music industry, right?
Yeah,
But that
be the
whole
writer.
idea of not giving up on your dream, and then the idea too that the dream can also take new form.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
passion is there, the inspiration is there, and don't give up on it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love
You're
this
you're going someplace, right?
I love this conversation because it goes so deep and it really makes you think like, wow, you can hit it all type of ways. Just don't give up.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Yeah.
So, Andrea, tell us website addresses or ways that we can learn more about you, and I'll also be posting these with the podcast.
Thank you so much. Yes, you can follow me on social media. I am on Instagram at the Real Adria. Oh my goodness, let me tell y'all. So y'all know that they did the TikTok ban, right? And so
Yeah.
I just transferred to different phones, and you can't even download TikTok now once you get a new phone. Like the app is completely gone.
Yeah. It's not on the App Stores any longer. Yeah.
I no
It's
longer
not there
have
any
my
longer.
TikTok, y'all. I'm so sorry. But I do have Instagram at the Real Adria, Snapchat, the Real Adria, and Facebook. I am Adria Glenn on there. So that's where you can find me. I'm available on all music platforms under Adria.
Definitely going to
Oh,
check
and
it out.
YouTube, Adria.
So you'll also send me all those addresses,
Yes,
which I'll put in the description. I want
yes.
to thank you so much, Adria, right, for
Thank
joining us
you.
today.
I
Right? You
have
do
enjoyed
it so.
y'all so much.
Oh, I'm so glad.
I got
And
a
keep
request before we leave.
Yes.
Idra, would you be willing to join me on my own podcast to talk about your career in the music industry?
Oh, I would love to.
Cool. Then I will
Thank
send me your
you.
details and I'll reach out to
yeah.
you and then we can set a date. Yeah.
Oh, yay. Thank you
I
so
think
much.
there's a lot of value from your end, that you can share there for independent artists, That's my
I
focus
would
crowd.
love to.
But you
Anything
know,
to anything to help.
yeah, let's grow I mean, the industry is growing, but there's a lot of individuals out there who are still stuck. Another lesson for independent artists out there, like can learn from your whole TikTok saga, is when you're building your brand as a musician, don't be dependent on one platform because that platform has blown up.
Right, right.
Be diverse, be on at least, I'm not saying be on 10, 20 because you're going to have like a psychological breakdown, spending most of your time posting. And, we don't want that for you. But find the
Right.
3 that really works for you and then balance it out. So at least you're present and of one drop. Because keep in mind, we don't have control of the technology. We don't have
No.
control of TikTok. We don't have control of Instagram. We don't have control of Facebook. We have control of nothing. We don't even have
Yeah.
control on this platform that's actually connecting us right now. If they decide, okay, I'll just shut it down. We don't want to talk anymore. That's it for us.
And
So it's rented
yes,
space.
I love how you said that. One thing I wanted to say is also make sure it's not just on social media, that you are being out here, being present for the world, for you to see, for the world to see you physically. Pass out your cards, have those one-on-one conversations with your fans. I feel like it's such a push now for social media this, but make sure you don't forget to get out there and meet people.
See, this is what I want to tap
like
on now.
We talk about like social media. There's also a social life.
Yes. I think when COVID hit like that, it just for some reason like not like yo, like we're still alive, we're still human. Like let's get out and interact with people. And
I'm
it's so
sitting
much
right
more
next to you,
cool.
but you're texting me.
Yeah.
I'm next door, but you're texting me.
Yeah.
So, Andrea, also keep us updated on new events in your life, right?
Yes. I have a show coming up. I don't know if you're gonna be in Mardi Gras in Baton Rouge. March 1st.
Tell me more. Mm-hmm.
Yes, for the Mardi Gras Festival in Baton Rouge. That's gonna be March 1st. So I hope to see y'all there. I think Henry Turner is having a performance on that Friday night, if I'm not mistaken. And also, too, I will be in Houston, Texas, March 20th through the 22nd. I will be performing there. I'll have more details on where the venue will be. So I'll be able to share that with you. And I have a few surprises for 2025 that I cannot wait to share. But yeah, 2025 is the year of freedom.
It's definitely a new season, for a lot of people. It's a new season, or the Chinese would say it's, the year of the snake now, which I do believe in. I do believe in. So it's definitely a season of change, a season of prosperity, abundance of growth, no matter what you could be seeking. Maybe you've been stuck for a long period of time, but keep in mind that life moves in seasons, and you're going to go through bad seasons to get to the good season. Again, back to what we've been talking to throughout this conversation. So enjoy your season and go out there. Make people
go
smile,
out there and shine your light.
Shine your light.
Do what you do. Do you live stream your performances?
Yes.
You do. Okay, cool. So when we follow you on social media, at least we'll be able to check it there,
You will be able to go there.
Pass all the way on the other side of the world.
Especially on YouTube. I try to make sure that I place my live performances there,
Yeah. But Texas is going to be cool. Like, I've spoken to so many people from Texas, and they're so cool.
Yes.
Now, everybody is cool, but I mean, like, they're like, Yeah, okay, we out there, you know.
I love Texas. The only thing is, it is so hot there. It's so hot, but I love the food. I love the culture there, the people, how diverse it is. Like, yeah, when they say everything
Yeah,
is bigger in Texas, like that is so true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was chatting to an author from Texas. He was also explaining to me about, the diversity in Houston, and when it comes to food, there's just so many choices, because it's such a
Mwah.
diverse
Chef
international
kiss.
crowd. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, but thanks. Okay, so we'll check you out. No, definitely. Check you out.
Thank
Doing your
you.
thing.
Thanks again,
Soon you'll be performing
Andrea.
at the Super Bowl. National anthem at the Super Bowl.
That will be very soon.
I love the positive
And then I'll
attitude.
be able to invite you all, and you'll
Oh,
be able to
yes.
witness that moment.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
gonna speak it into the future.
Yeah.
Thank y'all so much.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Bye.
I
Thank
love you
you.
both. Mwah.
Love you
Bye.
too. Bye.